So yeah, personal opinion, my face looks pretty horrible in this vid. It feels like there's 6 million flies around me, even though there's not. I've not made a video directly related to the NBA since my video making fun of players' names September 2019, which is a long time ago. A lot of my fans know that I like the NBA a lot, and it's all I post about on social media, and I commonly have NBA players on my PFPs on like Discord, but I never upload about the NBA. And I'm not saying that I'm going to turn into an NBA channel right now, but I upload whatever I want, and I decided today to upload a video about the NBA playoffs. I have very little time to get these predictions out, and I also want to say that this is genuinely the most unpredictable playoffs I've ever seen in my time watching the NBA. But now let's talk about the first round. So getting the easy stuff out of the way, Bucks sweeping Miami Heat, and the Nuggets being the Timberwolves in 5. I believe the Bucks will sweep the Heat because they did that in 2021, and I believe the Bucks have gotten better since. The Heat roster right now is arguably worse than the ones that they had in 2021. Not only that, the Heat's offense will be absolutely vomit-inducing to watch against the Bucks defense. Next, Nuggets will beat Timberwolves in 5 because they are better. Jokic owns Gobert, but I will say the reason I chose 5 instead of 4 is because Karl and Anthony Edwards are prone to cook at any time, but they can't cook enough for more than one win in this series. Next, we got the 2v7 matchup. These are the Grizzlies versus Lakers and the Hawks versus Celtics. To get the easy one out of the way, the Celtics are going to sweep the Hawks. But then there's the difficult one, the Grizzlies versus Lakers, this is definitely the most interesting 2v7 I've seen. This series could actually go either way, but I feel like that mostly depends on how the Lakers play. If the Lakers play like they're actually good at basketball, so like post-deadline Lakers, then, and everybody's on point, including D'Angelo, especially D'Angelo, how aggressive Davis is, I 100% believe that they could beat the Grizzlies. And I do trust LeBron and Davis to do as good as they need to, but the Lakers, they could beat some goofy odd boys a lot of the time, especially people like D'Angelo, which if everybody else who isn't LeBron and Davis forgets how to play basketball, which that's not even an unlikely scenario, I think that the Grizzlies will take this. If the Grizzlies or Lakers win, they'll both be in 6. For me to choose a winner, I guess I'll lean towards the Grizzlies since home court advantage and the superior team chemistry to the Lakers. Now for the 3v6 matchups, we have GSW versus Sacramento and 76ers versus the Nets. 76ers will beat the Nets in 5, although I am very excited to see how the Nets team does in the playoffs because they are clearly not built for the playoffs. For GSW and Sacramento, I debated with myself for a long time, but I ultimately decided that the GSW will be beating the Kings in 7. The Golden State Warriors last year have proved to me that experience will always win in the end because I believe that Celtics team was better than the Warriors team last year. But the Warriors still won, and I predicted the Warriors to win. Even with that, there is still a lot of things going against the Warriors in this series that still make it a battle that could go either way. And also, it's been clear all season that the Warriors just cannot win an away game for shit, and their defense at away games are shit. But Sacramento's deadly offense with GSW's awful defense at away games could definitely be a hit, but I'm choosing the Warriors' experience. Although this one could go either way, especially since I predicted in 7 and 7 will be in Sacramento's home. The 4 versus 5 series are the Knicks and Cavs versus the Clippers and Suns. These are actually the 2 most interesting series in the first round. First, I want to say that I will 100% be tuning into every single game of Clippers and Suns. The Clippers are one of my favorite teams to watch in the entire league. Actually, they are my favorite team to watch in the entire league. I loved watching them in the 2021 playoffs. And additionally, this is Kevin Durant versus Russell Westbrook. As an OKC fan, tuning into this is a necessity. But my prediction is the Suns winning in about 5 or 6. The absence of Paul George is just going to hurt the Clippers, and the Suns with KD are undefeated, although it is against some weaker teams. If Paul George was here, I would say that it's another series that could go either way, but most likely with the Suns winning at 7 if Paul George was here. Knicks versus Cavs in terms of basketball will be the most interesting series, as these are the most equal teams that are matched up. They are both perfectly healthy too. Jalen Brunson proved that he can definitely cook once the playoffs comes, but his teammates, like Julius Randle, have embarrassingly shit the bed in 2021 against the Hawks. Donovan is a well-documented playoff cooker. Not choker, cooker. He cooks in the playoffs, and he's done it consistently over and over again. The Cavs have a very weak perimeter defense, and I know Julius, Quickly, Jalen Brunson, they're very capable of cooking. But ultimately, I have the Cavs beating the Knicks in 6 since I trust them to show up more and be more consistent than the Knicks. It could go either way, but most likely the Cavs will win this one. Now with round 2, with my predictions, those matchups are now Nuggets versus Suns and Grizzlies versus Warriors. And then the Bucks versus the Cavs, and the Celtics versus 76ers. Starting with the Nuggets versus the Suns. These teams have previously dueled each other in 2021. The Suns ended up sweeping the Nuggets, but the Nuggets were without Jamal and Michael by then. Now they are fully healthy and have made some extra acquisitions to get them over the hump. The Nuggets have one of the most well-oiled offenses in the league. Despite this, I will still choose the Phoenix Suns to beat them. Although I would not be surprised by a Nuggets win, the Nuggets, in my opinion, don't have the defense to stop the KD, Devin, Paul, Suns offense. Especially in the playoffs where KD usually cranks it up, and the Suns also have a slightly better defense than the Nuggets. Next, we got Grizzlies versus Warriors. I believe that this is a series where Memphis finally takes over the Golden State Warriors and beats them in around 6 or 7 games. Golden State is still able to defeat them, but they have a lot of inconsistencies, and they've had weirder experiences with Memphis in the past years. Plus, the Golden State Warriors are coming off of Game 7 in my prediction. I have the Grizzlies in this one. I also feel like the Grizzlies are more polished and meshed together as a team this year than the last. There's a lot of X factors here for the Grizzlies, since they also could be a stupid team. One X factor here is if Dillon Brooks decides that he's good at basketball this series or not. He's been very prone to have inefficient shooting nights. Jaren Jackson Jr., master of fouls. If he gets into foul trouble, then it's over. GSW wins. It is also very true that the Warriors could finally get themselves together for the playoffs and start playing like last year's Warriors, but I have the Grizzlies. Bucks versus Cavs will end up with Bucks win in 5 or 6. I believe the Cavs' weaknesses are going to just bite them in the ass here, especially their poor perimeter defense against the Bucks' great 3-point shooting. Like, who is Donovan and Darius Garland stopping? They're around the same height as I am. The Bucks are also just a better team than the Cavs. So finally, with Celtics versus 76ers, this will be a very interesting series, and I can see it going to Game 7. Ultimately, regardless of how long this takes, Celtics are taking this W. I do know that the 76ers have been hungry for success this year, more than the previous, but the reason I'm taking the Celtics is because they have much more consistency and depth than the 76ers, and also, the 76ers are the 76ers. They're losers, they never make it out the second round, and they've been prone to playoff choking. Now we get to our conference finals matchups of Celtics versus Bucks and Suns versus Grizzlies. Let me get the easy one out of the way. Well, it's not really the easy one. This could go either way, but I have the Suns beating the Grizzlies in 5 or 6 games. The Grizzlies are indeed capable of being this team, I believe, but the Suns are much better and well-rounded. Plus, the absence of Steven Adams and Brandon Clark and all the mofos are really going to come to hurt. Jaren Jackson Jr., Mr. Foul Trouble, I already told you, that could get in the way. Dillon Brooks, he could come around and shoot like me during an average gym class game. The Suns also have a much more consistent offense, in my opinion. One thing that is true, though, for the Suns is that this man right here, Christopher Emmanuel Paul, he's a loser. And I do like the Grizzlies' grittiness and aggression over the Suns, but KD is here to save the Suns, in my opinion. I think he's the reason the Suns are getting over the hump. I also choosing the Suns because since 2015, all the Western Conference finalists have been from the Pacific Division. And I do not think that streak is breaking this year. And then we got Bucks versus Celtics, which is a very interesting series that could go either way. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to go either way. I have the Bucks beating them. The Celtics and Bucks are two very well-rounded teams with very few flaws. But the Celtics barely got past the Bucks last year anyways, and that was with the absence of Chris Middleton. Middleton is back, while individually he hasn't been as good before injury. I still feel like he has a great impact on the team. Not only that, Brook Lopez has progressed greatly since last year into a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I will acknowledge the Bucks do have a weakness. Some of their shooters are prone to forget how to shoot in the playoffs, which especially showed in last year's Game 7 against the Celtics, where Grant Williams sauced them and they won like 6 first. They did not make any threes in, but Chris Middleton is a good 3-point shooter who could help them with that. And he wasn't there last year. Celtics have also gotten better, just like the Bucks. But one factor I do also think plays a role here is home court advantage. And the Bucks are going to come out of their second round matchup against the Cavs stronger than the Celtics do against their 76ers. So I have the Bucks winning this one in 6. And now finally, the Bucks versus Suns. This has happened previously in 2021 with the Bucks winning, and I'm thinking that's going to happen again this year. The addition of KD is a factor here, but I believe that the Bucks defense is 100% capable of handling him. Not like stopping him, but handling him. Plus, Chris Paul, he's a loser. I think he's cursed. He's never going to win a ring. Devin Booker, he's a Kardashian. He's never going to win a ring. So, and also, Chris Paul has been lackluster for the entire series, and honestly, his old ass picking it up for the finals. I feel like Bucks are also much more stronger and glued together too, since the Suns have only played 8 games with KD, primarily against weaker teams. To finish this off, I want to say that this is really the most unpredictable playoffs I've seen since starting watching the NBA in 2018. I genuinely believe that the top 7 seeds in the West all have a chance to win the championship if everything falls into place for them. while in the East I only see the top 4 teams doing that, and the Cavs are slightly questionable. But anything is possible for this playoffs. This is the only playoffs we'll have for a while with this level of possibility, parity, and equality. Goodbye. Go listen to my music out on Spotify. 4 a.m. in the studio in 14, which I got my jersey right now, my Xavier Fernandez 14 jersey. Listen to that. Go watch some of my other videos. Goodbye.